So there's this weird view that the ignorant religious right have in Brazil about the first lady of Brazil, and they think she's like Esther from the Bible. Okay, and we have elections down here next month for quite a few things, but also for the president. And the religious right, they're getting all ecumenical, like they do to try to save whatever country they're in, because this happens just everywhere where a bunch of people claim to be Christians, and then they get into politics. They end up yoking together with a bunch of Roman Catholics and JWs and Pentecostals and stuff. In order to supposedly save the country that they're in. Okay. And this latest installment down here in Brazil is a bunch of religious people trying to guilt trip you into voting for a Roman Catholic with very fascist tendencies. And trying to make you, feel guilty and basically try to accuse you of not being a real Christian unless you vote for this Roman Catholic, because his wife's like Esther from the Bible, and she's just going to save us all from, like communism or something. I mean, do people even think anymore? And look, this is another bizarre thing that a lot of people in Christendom have, where they get some story from the Old Testament, usually about, Jews, and they try to like directly apply it to the country that they live in and their like personal experience or situation in their life. And a lot of times it ends up being just foolish to go about it in that way. Okay. And like I even remember back when Trump ran for president the first time up in the States, where people were comparing him to like all sorts of Bible characters. There's, some people said he was like Darius. Other people said he was like Nebuchadnezzar. Other people said he like Alex. I remember Alex Jones said that Trump was like the second coming of King David. I mean, like what in the world? And what did the religious right up there do? They banded together to, vote for another, unhinged guy with fascist tendencies, because, they had weird Bible interpretations. Okay, and I don't talk about conspiracies much on my channel and conspiracy theories. But I'll just say this. I do believe that the devil, brings up preachers and false teachers to infiltrate churches, to manipulate their congregation into supporting uh, you know, atrocious things and atrocious people, so that unbelievers will look at that and basically, so that would cause them to, blaspheme the God of the Bible and to give them a very false view of what Christianity is. And, I've seen it both with Bolsonaro and with Trump supporters, that people who claim to be Christians will, go very much out of their way to defend, uh, just despicable behavior. And, of these men. And, secular people look at that and they think, well, if these people are claiming to be Christians and, trying to force, like fascism, those secular people are going to think, that, like when they're going to think of Jesus, they're not going to think about grace. You know what I mean? Like they're going to have a false view about Jesus. And look, if you're a Christian, you're to be an ambassador for Jesus Christ, okay? And his kingdom is not of this world. And you're just a pilgrim passing through, okay? You're not to be an ambassador for, look, because if you get into politics, you're like trying to represent, like Brazil or the United States and whatnot, depending on what country you live in. If you live in Ireland, if you live in Japan, if you live in South Africa or something. And, I went on the website of the mega church that the First Lady attends, and it's some like Baptist, kind of Baptist-costally, actually, mega church. And of course, there was no gospel on the website. There's no statement of faith or what they believe, and that's always a red flag. And this church, I can't remember the name of the church, but they have chapters, various places in Brazil and countries like Canada, I think Australia or something too. But though I didn't find the gospel nor statement of faith, what I did find was basically a declaration that their mission, it was like on the front page, basically that their mission was to bring the kingdom into the world. It's not you that's going to bring it, okay? It's going to be Jesus Christ. And there's this weird thing amongst a lot of the Protestants where they think that they have to take over countries, or Jesus isn't coming back. And, that's just a false doctrine. That's dangerous doctrine. And, it tries to darken the light, and it confuses people about the grace of God and how God's, God of love and forgiveness and compassion. And, it just paints God, paints a false picture of God in the minds of secular people. and it makes him think that he's just an abusive, like, slave owner, hard taskmaster that's just waiting to give you a beating every time you do something wrong. And, you know, look, if you're a Christian, it's supposed to be the ministry of reconciliation. Okay. Not a persecution of, people think differently than you, or whatever. I hope this wakes somebody up.